Here to preview the 2022-23 Concordia women's basketball season with head coach Drew Olson. And as we record this, I know you've had at least about a couple weeks of practice to kind of get a look at this team. But starting off with a little bit on last year, I know it was kind of a season of growth against a schedule that was maybe the toughest in all of NAIA. How do you feel like that experience can make this team better this year?
Yeah, it was a tough season because we played the number one schedule in the RPI rankings of the strength of schedule, and so it was definitely a challenge. And with a young team, we had so many injuries to start the season, and we were relying so much on freshmen and sophomores that we did take a couple losses that normally maybe we wouldn't have, but I think we did learn a lot from it. I think we gained a lot of toughness, and I think our team is very motivated because of kind of what we went through last season.
How about so far in preseason, what have you placed the biggest emphasis on, and how is your team responding to that?
I think the biggest thing is just like our attitude and effort every day, and I think our team has been phenomenal. It's been a really fun group to work with. They play super hard, and I'm really proud of how hard they're working so far.
Starting off with guard Tasha Rushton, 2 seasons, 2 first-team All-Conference awards for her. What are the main things you're asking of her this season in the context of team trying to get as successful as you can be from a team perspective?
Yeah, I think with Tasha, she's done an awesome job of being a really positive leader, holding our team to a high standard, but at the same time just bringing really good energy every day. Her defense has been phenomenal, and she's a big-time player, and she's showed that pretty much every day so far.
You have a pretty big collection of players that are in their 3rd year in the program, like Tasha, also Kendall Brigham, Sadie Powell, Mackenzie Toomey. What have you enjoyed about kind of watching that group continue to get better and mature?
Yeah, I think the maturity is the right word with that group. Like, you can tell they're just a little bit different this year, and they've gone through some of those growing pains through losses, but also just having to be expected to be leaders at such a young age was really kind of a tough task to ask of them. But I think now that they are juniors, they've been through it, they're doing an awesome job of leading. You can just see like there's a different mindset about them, and their work ethic is phenomenal.
I understand it's probably a process in Mackenzie Kepke's return as she continues to work her way back. What was your reaction when she said she wanted to come back for a 5th year in the program?
Yeah, well, I was so happy for her because I didn't want it to end the way it did last year for like her sitting out the entire season, just having to watch, just had to be awful, and to go through that as a senior makes it even worse. But being able to have one more chance to kind of finish out her career on a positive note, I think is a great thing, and I know that once she is able to come back and play, she's going to be a huge addition, both on the court, but also just her leadership, her competitiveness, and we're really looking forward to it.
Mentioned Sadie Powell being one of those 3rd-year players as part of the front court. We also have people like Abby Heemstra and Haley Kleinschmidt that have some experience there. There's another Wieselmeyer in the mix as well in the front court. How is that group coming along?
Yeah, that group's doing a great job. Sadie is a big-time player as well, and I think she's ready to take another step in her game. And I think Abby and Haley are finding their roles for the team. Kristen is going to be a really good player. She's going to have her moments of being a freshman, but so far what we've seen is very impressive, and just love her work ethic as well.
In the past couple of years, maybe this team has looked a little bit different in that you're not always pressing. How does that process work in terms of evaluating each year? What's the best plan of attack with that personnel?
Yeah, it's just about looking at their strengths and how all the pieces fit together. And obviously we want to play a really fast style and want to press. The last couple of years, sometimes we could, but sometimes we couldn't, based on the personnel that was on the floor. We'll see what our group does this season. But I think that the main thing is that we're going to play really, really hard.
As far as what you're seeing right now, what is it telling you about the potential of maybe where things could be as you get more towards the middle of the season?
It's hard to tell. I mean, I think we've got a really good team, but at the same time, we know in the GPAC it's really tough, and especially this year, there's so many teams that are pretty senior heavy or fifth year heavy, and so it's going to be a challenge. I feel like there's 8-9 teams that are really, really good, and it's going to be a battle. But I really do like our team, and when we have the toughness that we've shown so far, and how hard we play, I think good things are going to happen.
As far as non-conference scheduling, I think things are a little bit different now. You have 22 conference games, and now that's a 28-game regular season. You have CIT in there. So what's kind of the strategy behind? I guess you kind of only have 4 games to really play with there.
Yeah, so we get the 6 non-conference games. 2 of them are going to be in the Cattle Classic, and we try to schedule some tough teams. And so we've got Bellevue and Dakota State. Those will be good matchups for us. Then we get the CIT tournament, which is always a fun experience for our team, and we're really looking forward to it since we haven't had it the last couple of years. And then we get 2 more games, and so we do it over the Christmas trip. Christmas break, and we'll go down to Fort Worth and play Texas Wesleyan, which is a really good team. They went to the national tournament along with Science and Arts in Oklahoma, and they also went. So kind of the four games that we get to control. We've got some really good opponents that will challenge us.
Well, the national tournament's been different the last couple of years, and last year's the first time it was actually able to go to the full 64. What do you kind of see as maybe some of the biggest positives of this new setup?
Well, I think the biggest positive is just the computer formulas of an RPI, a strength of schedule. So the people picking the teams are able to use other data outside of just the coach's top 25 poll. I think that's a good thing. To be able to have a lot of balance, checks and balances. But in terms of the overall tournament, like, it's just a great format. You play really good teams. To be able to survive and get to Sioux City is a challenge in itself. But to get to Sioux City and then all 16 teams there are just incredible teams, and it's a lot of fun.